We're going deep today
Oh, yeah.
into a topic that can be really tough.
Yeah.
Aggression in teenagers with autism.
Right.
Especially during puberty.
It's a big one.
Yeah, we're looking at this article from Cheap ABA.
Okay.
And it's
Interesting stuff.
it really breaks down this complex issue.
It is complex.
It is. So if you
Yeah.
are a parent or an educator or just someone who wants to understand this link between
Yeah.
autism and puberty and aggression,
It's for you.
this is for you.
Yeah.
You know, puberty is,
Oh, yeah.
it's already so hard.
It's tough.
It's so tough for any teenager.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a roller coaster.
All those hormones and emotion.
Would be down.
And then you layer on
Yeah.
the unique challenges faced by individuals with autism.
Absolutely.
It's no wonder this is a
It can be so
difficult period.
challenging.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what did you find fascinating about this article?
I think for me, it was how well it connected the dots
Okay.
between puberty,
Yeah.
autism,
Okay.
and this increase in aggression.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not about,
Right.
judging or labeling.
Right.
It's about really understanding the why.
And that's what's so important, right?
Yeah.
Understanding why this is happening.
Absolutely.
And it starts with hormones, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's a big one.
think about it. Think
Yeah.
about being a teenager yourself.
Oh, I don't want to go
Right.
back
Yeah.
there. But just for a second,
Okay, yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Remember those days when just the smallest thing
Yeah.
would set you off?
For sure.
You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now imagine experiencing that times 10.
Wow.
Because your hormones are just on high alert.
All right.
And your ability to regulate those emotions
It's totally.
is just different.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of individuals with autism
That makes sense.
experience during puberty. It's almost like it's like the volume is turned up way high.
Exactly.
And you don't know
And you don't have the tools
to adjust it.
to deal with it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why?
And if that wasn't tough enough,
Yeah.
puberty throws in
What else could there be?
another curveball.
Okay.
Changes in sensory processing.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about sensory overload.
Sensory overload.
Okay.
But it's not even just that. Like,
Like-
things seem louder
Okay.
or brighter.
Right.
Imagine if, like,
Okay.
the clothes you'd always worn
Mhm.
suddenly felt unbearably itchy.
Oh.
Or the hum of the refrigerator
Right.
sounded like a jackhammer.
Yeah.
You know,
I could see how that would be.
these shifts in those sensory experiences
Oh, yeah.
can be incredibly overwhelming,
Yeah.
especially on top of
Right.
the hormonal surges we talked about.
So that makes sense.
Right.
That leads to
Frustration,
anxiety.
meltdowns, anxiety,
Yeah.
meltdowns,
Right. And
big feelings.
And the communication piece.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if they're having trouble expressing themselves.
Yeah, individuals with autism often have difficulty expressing
Yes.
their needs and their feelings.
Yes.
And during puberty,
Yeah.
those communication breakdowns
Totally.
can be magnified.
So they're having all these big feelings. They're having all this sensory overload,
Yeah.
but they can't communicate
They don't have the tools
what's going on.
to articulate what's going
I
on.
mean, it's got to be so frustrating
And they don't know how to ask for what they need.
for them
Yes.
and for the people around them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a recipe for frustration and outbursts.
And we haven't even talked about the social piece.
Oh, we haven't even, that's a whole other,
Another layer.
during puberty.
Yeah. Huge.
Okay.
Big one. Oh, it's a big one.
It really is.
Because it's like,
It's like a crash course
yeah.
in social navigation.
Right.
And it's like everybody else got the instruction manual.
Exactly.
And they didn't.
Yeah. And those unwritten rules,
Which
all
is-
those social cues
Right.
that, most teenagers are kind of picking up on
They get it?
intuitively
Yeah.
are just like landmines.
Exactly.
If you're on the spectrum.
You're going to walk into a few of those.
All right.
For sure.
And it can be so confusing.
Like imagine
Yes.
feeling totally lost in a conversation.
Right.
Or misinterpreting something.
Yeah.
Like you think somebody's
Right.
giving you a hostile look,
Right.
but they're not.
Yeah.
It's
tough.
So it can lead to a lot of anxiety,
Yeah.
a lot of confusion,
Of course.
and then ultimately aggression.
Right.
And the article really points out
Yeah.
that this is often the root
Okay.
of those really challenging behaviors.
So it's not coming from
Yeah, and it's not.
a place of malice. It's
It's
coming
like-
from
It's a response,
to feeling overwhelmed
Right.
and misunderstood.
misunderstood and overwhelmed.
Yes.
So we've got this perfect storm happening.
It really is like a perfect storm.
We've got the hormones,
Sure.
we've got the sensory overload,
Sensory overload.
the social struggles,
Yeah.
communication breakdowns.
Communication.
Any one of those things
Right.
would be tough.
Tough enough on their own.
But all together.
Put them all together.
And it's a recipe for disaster.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's really challenging.
But the good news is we're understanding these underlying factors.
Understanding is the first step.
So that we can create some strategies.
You can actually do something about it.
And the article really emphasizes early intervention.
Yes.
So important.
Early intervention is key.
So don't wait until everything hits the fan for things to go really south.
Right.
Puberty's coming.
Right.
We know it's coming.
It's coming.
So be prepared.
Let's get those support systems in place.
Yes.
You know, we can work with these teenagers.
Give them the tools.
On developing coping mechanisms.
Yes.
We can teach them.
So they can communicate.
How to communicate more effectively.
What they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can even create environments.
Oh, that's a good point.
That minimize that sensory overload.
Like sensory-friendly spaces.
Exactly.
Love.
Sensory-friendly spaces.
What does that look like?
Well, it can be something as simple as having a quiet room where they can go when they're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Maybe dim the lights a little bit.
Okay.
Noise-canceling headphones.
Oh, yeah.
Can be really helpful.
For sure.
Weighted blankets.
I've heard that.
Fidget toys.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
So just having those tools.
Just things that can create an environment so they feel safe.
Where they feel safe and in control.
Minimizing all those external triggers.
Yes. Minimizing those triggers.
Might set them off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
And then the communication piece as well.
Yes.
Because if you can't communicate what's going on.
If you can't say it,
yeah,
it's going to come out somehow.
It's going to come out.
Right. One way or another.
Yeah.
And for some people, that looks like directly teaching social skills.
Like what kinds of things?
How to recognize a facial expression.
Oh, that's a good one.
How to start a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
How to keep a conversation going.
Right.
How to understand body language.
That's huge.
Things like that.
Yeah.
And then for other people, it might look like using visual aids.
Oh, like social stories?
Social stories.
I love social stories.
Yeah.
Or picture cards.
Picture cards are great.
Yeah.
Whatever helps to bridge that
communication gap.
That communication gap.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And that's where,
you know,
professionals,
bringing in a professional can be so helpful.
Can be really helpful.
Yeah.
So we're talking about
therapists, counselors, behavioral specialists.
People who really know what they're doing.
They can really help these families
develop
these personalized strategies.
That's the key word, right?
That's the key word.
Personalized.
Because everybody's different.
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
They can teach them those coping mechanisms.
Right.
And just provide ongoing support.
And they can also help navigate that world of services.
Because that can be so overwhelming.
So overwhelming.
Navigating all of that.
Exactly.
Trying to find the right resources.
Yeah, you're going through all this.
It's like a maze.
It's a maze.
It really is.
And then the article also touches on medication.
Medication.
Which is it can be an important piece.
For some.
For some people.
Not for all.
It's not always necessary.
Right.
Not always appropriate.
It's not a magic bullet.
Not at all.
Right.
But it can play a role
in managing
some of those
behaviors,
more challenging behaviors. Yeah. But that's a decision that's made
with a professional,
with a medical professional.
Yeah,
for sure.
Your doctor.
Yes.
Your medical team.
And it sounds like it really takes this team approach.
It does.
We've got the parent.
It's a village. Educators.
Absolutely.
Therapists.
Parents. Educators,
medical professionals,
therapists, medical professionals, everybody as a team to really support that individual.
Yeah. So we talked about all those practical strategies.
Oh, got some strategies.
What are some of the key takeaways that we should really keep in mind?
Yeah.
As we're thinking about big picture.
Supporting these teenagers.
Yeah. What are we really taking away from this?
It seems like one of the biggest takeaways for me, and the article even mentions this, is just patience.
Oh, yeah.
And understanding.
So important.
That this is not easy for the teenager going through it.
It's not easy for anybody.
And it's certainly not easy for the families and caregivers who are trying to support them.
Yeah. We can't forget about the empathy piece here.
Yeah.
Right.
These
teenagers are
need to be understanding,
navigating a really challenging time.
Yeah.
And then you're filtering it through the lens of autism.
Right.
It's like
learning a new language.
Yes.
But you're also
and then having to
try to perform a play in that language.
Exactly.
At the same time.
Oh, it's hard.
And you've got stage fright.
Yeah.
And you're in front of everybody.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Oh my God.
So yeah, compassion, understanding.
Super important.
Remembering that these outbursts, these meltdowns, they're not intentional acts of defiance.
Yeah.
It's not like they're trying to make your life...
This is not a power struggle.
Yeah.
This is a cry for help.
Right.
They're trying to communicate something.
Yeah.
But they don't know how.
And we've got to remember, just like...
we can't forget.
Every person with autism is different.
That every single person with autism is unique.
Right.
So...
what works for one
is not going to work for another.
Going to work for another.
Right.
They have their own strengths.
Absolutely.
They have their own challenges. Their own ways of communicating.
Right.
So
you individualize.
Finding those personalized plans that work for that individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure out what works for them.
And it's a journey, right?
And it's not going to happen overnight.
It's not like it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Find the solution and you're done.
That's right.
You're
going to have your good days.
It's a process.
You're going to have your bad days.
Then you just got to...
moments of progress.
Yeah.
Steps back.
Keep going.
But with patience, understanding.
Yeah.
And consistent support.
Yeah.
These teenagers can get through it.
Yeah.
They can come out the other side.
Stronger.
More resilient.
Yeah.
More independent. Ready to take on the world.
I love that.
Right.
I feel like this article really did a good job of... highlighting all the...
we covered a lot of ground today.
Key points.
We did.
We talked about the link.
Oh, talked about what?
Between autism and aggression during puberty.
We did.
We talked about all the factors.
All the things that contribute.
To that.
We did.
And then we really dove into...
and how to support...
those practical strategies.
those teenagers.
But even more importantly...
what did we say?
We talked about the importance of
compassion, individualization, a holistic approach.
A holistic approach to care.
Yes.
We covered so much today.
It's a lot to think about.
This was great.
It is.
As we wrap things up, is there anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, this article really got me thinking, bigger picture.
Okay.
We're talking about this individual experience.
Yeah.
But what about... as a society, what can we be doing to make our communities more supportive, more inclusive
for everybody,
for people with autism?
It takes a village.
Right.
It really does.
Not just during the teenage years,
the
whole way through.
Every stage of life.
I love
something to think about.
Food for thought.
Right.
Understanding is the first step.
It is.
But action.
Yeah, but
then it's what makes it different.
We got to do something about it. Say that. Right.
We'll leave you with that.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me
on this deep dive.
I enjoyed it.